Hello, and welcome back to the channel. So what do we got here? This is my new Decathlon Rockrider ST530S Sport Trail. So this is the third Decathlon mountain bike I have bought to try out to see what kind of quality and performance you can get out of a bike at a very low price point. Now, let me just state this right up front. All of these bikes I've bought, you can go back to my previous videos for the ST100 and ST520 Rockriders. Those were purchased on clearance, approximately 75% off of retail price, $98 and $150. This was $216. And, well, is it any good? I have yet to find that out for sure because I'm going to get out and ride this thing hopefully tomorrow if I have time. But let's talk about what it is and why I think it potentially could be a great deal and worth you taking a look at as well. Now, I'm going to post links to this bike, also the ST520, which is currently for sale. I didn't get these from Walmart like I did the previous two bikes, nor did I get them directly from Decathlon. I got this from a website called curated.com. Looks like they primarily do outdoor golf, skiing, snowboarding, hiking, camping type stuff. But they're currently selling a few Decathlon brand bikes, and I just happened to come across their page selling this one. And I was like, ooh, I can't not buy that for $216. Ended up being about $233 with sales tax, but free shipping here in the United States. So seemed like a very, very good deal. And I want to see if the bike is any good. Well, let's dig into it. So what is this? It's full suspension, as you can see, aluminum frame. And it's a basic single pivot rear suspension system. So you do have a large main pivot bearing right there. And then your coilover shock with bushings, which is pretty common. Basic shock, just adjustments for the rider's weight, which those numbers right there represent kilograms, the weight of the rider in kilograms. So it goes from 55 to 105 kilograms. I'm on the upper end of that scale, so I've got it cranked up to the stiffest setting, and it feels okay. We'll see. I'm going to ride it some more. I've just been around the block and down through the park in my neighborhood. Front fork is an SR Suntour, like an XCM30. It's not branded as such. It's got like the Decathlon Rockrider branding on it, but there is an SR Suntour sticker over on the other side of the fork crown. But you've got a lockout and a preload adjuster on the other side. And that's just a basic coil spring fork with 30 millimeter stanchions, so nothing super beefy, but 120 millimeters of travel here, 120 millimeters of travel here. Drivetrain is a 1x9 with micro shift Advent 9-speed. And there is Rockrider branding on these components, but it is a micro shift. It's the clutched version with an 11 to 42 tooth cassette. And then the shifter, it's also a micro shift with Rockrider branding. Go over here, hopefully focus in on that. There you go. And then the Advent trail shifter is going to have a different setup than this. So you get your thumb lever and then a 4-finger lever, which you pull back that way. So this is more like the Acolyte, which is like their 8-speed group set. But this is basically some kind of like OEM sort of version that's not a commercially available product, but that's pretty common for bike manufacturers to have. Component manufacturers make special stuff for them. Aluminum handlebar and aluminum stem, so a little bit older geometry on this bike. It's not super old school. You've got a 68.5 degree head tube angle, which is steep by today's standards, but a lot slacker or more angled out forward. I don't want to make this into a frame geometry video, but basically the slacker the angle, the more longer the wheelbase tends to be and more stable the bike is, but the steering tends to be a little bit slower and less responsive. But anyway, you tend to see longer stems, like a 90mm stem on older type geometry bikes, and that's what we got here. Plus a little bit narrower handlebar than what you typically see these days. That's 720mm. It's a 31.8 clamp diameter, just a basic, probably 20-25mm rise handlebar. So a little bit of rise, a little bit of sweep. I think that comes through on camera there, but fairly comfortable. And then got the B-Twin Ergo Fit. That's another brand that Decathlon uses, is B-Twin, and decent looking seat, like the red stripe down the middle to accent with the frame. Seat post is kind of strange on this. That's a 31.6 diameter post, which is good because that's a common size. What's weird is it is welded in place. There's no adjustment for the tilt, so you can't angle your saddle, which is a bummer because that's an important part of getting a bike to fit right. I think they claim that that is to make it stronger so it doesn't slip, but they should have just put a regular seat post on it. I don't know why they did that. Regular quick release clamp. And then this is a steel seat post. It's very heavy. If you were going to replace this with a dropper seat post like I'm going to, it doesn't really matter because you're replacing it, and at least the bike's not going to get any heavier because that post is already about the weight of what a dropper seat post is. So that's what we got going on there. There is no internal cable routing on this, so running a cable for the dropper is going to require a little bit of ingenuity. And basically, of course, you've got your derailleur cable for your rear derailleur coming down the side here. It goes underneath, down the chainstay, all external. Does make that easier to work on. And then you've got your rear brake hose running along the top of the down tube, top of the down tube, down there to the brake. So what I'm planning on doing is basically piggybacking, zip tying a cable housing to here, and then I'm going to do an internal dropper post. So that's going to require me to drill into the frame and put a cable port somewhere down here in this area. I'll have to see how far the seat post I'm getting goes down, where I need to put that. But I've done it before on other bikes. You got to kind of know what you're doing, but I'm not scared. I didn't pay much for the bike, so the stakes are pretty low. Anyway, I'm going to run a dropper internally, but they do make dropper posts with external cable ports on them, and so that you would basically probably just like zip tie a cable down underneath the top tube and do it that way. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be functional. So that's basic. Oh, let me go over the wheels real quick. 27.5-inch wheels. These are listed as a tubeless ready rim. Does use a Schrader valve, so you'll have to get Schrader adapters, or not adapters, but Schrader tubeless valve thingies. And rim tape, and then tubeless compatible tires. These are a 27.5 by 2.0, very narrow tire. I wish it came with like a 2.2 or 2.3. That's what I'm planning on replacing them with. I'm going to find, hopefully, some inexpensive take-off tires, like somebody bought a bike, upgraded their tires right away. So basically brand new tires that came on somebody else's bike. I'm going to try to buy those cheap and get something that's tubeless compatible so I can convert this thing over to tubeless and see how that works as well. So there you have it. First look. I am going to do another video just kind of going over some of the ride impressions. Once I get this thing out on the trail, I'm going to ride it first without really doing any upgrades. Stock tires, probably on the stock seat post. We'll see about that. And then I am going to put my own pedals and some of my own grips that I like better. These are just basic flat pedals, probably fine for a couple of rides, but I would recommend upgrading to some nicer pedals, whatever pedals you like to use. And then same thing goes for grips. They're just regular slip-on rubber grips. They're probably fine for many people, but I have grips that I like to run, and I'm going to put those on there. So I'll be doing that, taking it out for a ride and doing an update video, and then I should probably do one more video after that once I've done all the upgrades and really let you know whether this bike is worth somebody actually owning and using for, even if it's a couple of years before they can upgrade to like a really nice bike. Is it worth getting? I mean, I think so for $216, but it might not be any good. So let's find out together, shall we? Thanks very much for watching. Hope you come back and watch the other videos. Go check out my older videos on the other Decathlon bikes. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, please do all that stuff. Again, I'm going to post links in the description on where you can buy this bike. Currently, it's available in small, medium, large, extra large. And then they're also selling that hardtail Rockrider ST520 that I previously reviewed, least as of this morning when I was on their website. So I'm going to link to that as well because they've got it for $150. You may just want a hardtail, and that's also a pretty good deal. So check them out, and we'll talk to y'all next video.